Yo, guys, what is going on? It is your boy Hollywood Steve. Welcome back to another episode of the Hollywood Steve Wrestling Podcast right here on YouTube. Let's get right into Monday Night Raw and the review of a pretty good Monday Night Raw. I'm not going to say it was a killer edition of Monday Night Raw, but here we go. Monday Night Raw kicked off with Triple H in the ring to introduce John Cena, who came out to his home fans of Boston, Mass, and his home state and home arena, where he was born only 35 minutes from Boston. As you guys know, those of you guys that follow John Cena have followed John Cena's career as I have. He was born in West Newbury, Massachusetts, so he only lives he only grew up he only grew up uh 35 minutes. Yeah, it was only 35 minutes from the TD Garden Arena. So I thought that was pretty cool. And John Cena, he does his thing. He's thanking the fans and everything. And Dominic Mysterio interrupts. Dom comes out, says, of course, he's the greatest. He's the greatest of all time. John Cena, basically, John Cena's John Cena's nothing. Da 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 da. John Cena's like, I would choose very carefully the next words that come out of your mouth. And Triple H looks at both of them. Triple H says, after some verbal barbs from Cena and Dom, Triple H makes it official. He looks at both of them. He looks at Dom and says, Dominic, you're defending that Intercontinental Championship tonight against John Cena, and that match starts now. So John Cena is getting an opportunity to become a Triple Crown champion, which he's never been. John Cena's never been a Triple Crown champion. He's won every single title. Just like Sheamus, he's won every title except for the Intercontinental title. So John Cena takes on Dom here in in in, in not very long match. A typical, an average, a typical John Cena match. John Cena doesn't do a lot of selling. John Cena picks up the win. Um, as we knew was gonna happen, and we knew John Cena was gonna take the victory here, and John Cena becomes a Triple Crown champion, which I thought was very cool, very cool. I'm glad I'm super excited that they put that title on John Cena. That's really awesome. Then we got a recap of last week when Logan Paul drilled CM Punk with the brass knucks after Punk and Jey Uso's tag match against the Bronze. And then we got our first match of the night which was the first round of the Last Time Is Now 16-man tournament. Damian Priest taking on Rusev. Priest and Rusev went back and forth like two massive bulls. Priest, despite only having 50% of his vision after after getting his eye gouged last week by Aleister Black, and just kind of, it was your average typical like big man match, um, and after a gouge to the eye, Rusev hits a Machka kick and picks up the win. So Rusev advances to the next round of the tournament, and whoever he'll take on whoever wins the Sheamus Shinsuke Nakamura match. So I do believe that's how that I believe that's how that's working. Then we had AJ Styles and Dragon Lee backstage, and the WWE Tag Team Champions, talking with that Raw General Manager Adam Pearce, and they were talking about their how they're going to figure out their challengers, who their next challengers are going to be. Pierce said, "Just let me cross some T's, dot some I's, and we'll uh, we'll get you guys some challengers here." And they said, "Okay, cool." And they were talking about a name, and they came up with Dragon Style. AJ's like, let's keep working on it. Then we had Maxine Dupree walk up and said that she said to Pierce her training was going well, and that she is ready to take on Becky. And Pierce just had to make sure. He said, "Okay, then. It's official next week at Madison Square Garden. Becky Lynch will be defending her Intercontinental Championship against Maxine Dupree." And right on cue, Becky jumps Maxine Dupree and says, "Welcome to the big time. You don't stand a chance." Then then we got CM Punk and Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso backstage. Or no, I'm sorry, not that. That comes later. That comes later. That comes later. Getting ahead of myself. That comes later because I'm so excited about what happened later. I'm so stoked. So excited. So excited about what happens later, guys. So absolutely excited about what happens later. But we'll get to that. Okay. CM Punk, we had CM Punk coming out, obviously, to a huge, massive pop from the Boston crowd. And he goes on, and he's telling everybody, how Logan Paul is a scumbag. Logan Paul is this. Logan Paul is that. And he was ready for a fight and called out Logan Paul. And right on cue, Logan Paul comes out and says, says the only reason that he teamed up with the Vision, that he joined the Vision or aligned himself with them, was because he did not want to be getting beat up every 2 weeks. And that's what the Vision said, that if you did not join them, if you did not align yourself with them, you were going to be the victim. And Logan Paul didn't want to be the victim. And Logan Paul keeps talking right on cue. Paul Heyman walks out, and along with the rest of the Vision, the along with the Bronze, and Heyman, and as usual, Heyman's talking, telling Punk, "Hey, you know, I'm your former best friend because da 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 da," and basically warning him, "You don't really want to do this." Punk's like, "Quit talking, let's go, let's fight." So Logan Paul and the Bronze jump Punk, but it doesn't take long for Jey Uso to jump in the ring and help out Punk. And not too long after that, Cody Rhodes music hits, and he makes Cody Rhodes, the the undisputed WWE World Heavyweight Champion, makes his way down, runs down to even the odds, and after taking out the Bronze and Logan Paul and almost Paul Heyman, Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Jey Uso stand tall in the ring. And then we had Stephanie Vaquer backstage making her way to the ring with Nikki Bella by her side. And something is going to happen with Nikki Bella that we did not see coming. So we're about to get a little bit of a swerve here. And it took me by surprise. But we'll get to that. So Stephanie Vaquer is defending her women's championship against Raquel Rodriguez of the Judgment Day in a really hard fought match where Rodriguez countered everything. But in the end, Stephanie Vaquer hits a corkscrew flip off the top rope for the win. And post match, this is where it got interesting. Nikki Bella is standing there raising her hand. Yeah, I'm so proud of you. Great job. And then grabs the belt and drills La Primera, Stephanie Vaquer, in the back of the head and starts trash talking. And we got a Nikki Bella heel turn. I was not expecting that. And then here comes what I told you earlier. Here comes if you guys are familiar with, if you guys know who William Regal is, he's going to make an appearance here. He was the former general manager of NXT and War Games, was part of NXT until they moved it to the main roster. So here we go. This is the tease, guys. This is what I was telling you about. So CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Jey Uso are backstage talking with Adam Pearce, and Punk is like, we're I've got my team ready. We're ready for war. And Pearce looks at him and says, are you saying what I think you're saying? And there's just this pause, and there's this little bit of a pause, and Punk looks up and goes, Regal. And William Regal walks up and says, gentlemen, full games. And that was it. And Adam Pearce says, makes it official. Said, well, it's official. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Jey Uso are officially preparing for war. And then we got the second match of the Last Time Is Now tournament. The second match was Shinsuke Nakamura in a banger taking on Sheamus. And this match really this match was a lot of this match was definitely some back and forth. Couple of counters. Sheamus counters a couple of Shinsuke's moves. It was an absolute, dogfight. It was hard hitting. A very physical match. Shinsuke countered the bro kick with a sling blade. Sheamus countered the Kinshasa. Sheamus went for white noise, but Shinsuke countered out of it. And at that point, with their both of their big moves, both of them got 2 counts out of their big moves. But out of nowhere, Sheamus hits the bro kick, and Sheamus hits the bro kick out of nowhere, and picks up the win. So Sheamus is going on to the next round, and it looks, if I'm not mistaken, he's taking on Rusev. So that ought to be an amazing match. Absolutely incredible match. Then again, we had Adam Pearce backstage with referee Jessica Carr drawing the next 4 competitors for the last time is now tournament. And next week in Madison Square Garden, in from New York City, it's going to be Javon Evans of NXT taking on the returning Gunther. Good luck, Javon Evans. I I love the kid, but bro, dude, buddy, to have to draw Gunther. Oh, yeah. The young OG has got a run for his money. Let's put it that way. Against the Ring General Gunther. Oh, that's gonna be good. And then we got Solo Sikoa taking on a mystery opponent. Adam Pearce does the same thing Nick Aldis does here. He pulls out the plastic ball, opens up, looks at it, says, "We'll find out together next week who Solo's taking on." Then we got the main event, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss defending their titles against Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors. And the champs make their entrance here. Flair and Bliss come out to a very strong start until Bliss misses a baseball slide. Flair then hits a moonsault on both the Kabuki Warriors on the outside. And Asuka gets pinned for a 2. Asuka evaded the natural selection and then gets Flair in an armbar. And then out of nowhere, just out of I mean coming out of the crowd is Nia Jax and Lash Legend from NXT. And I'm like, what are they? At first, I was like, what are they doing here? And they both jump Charlotte. They jump Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, allowing Asuka to Alaska allowing. There we go. I can talk this morning, guys. This afternoon, guys. I really promise I can. After after taking out and interfering in the match, the referee's back was turned. Obviously, he didn't see it, of course. Asuka and Kairi Sane hit their insane elbow combo, and we have brand new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Post match, though, Lash Legend Nia Jax and the Kabuki Warriors start beating down Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Io Sky comes down to make the save. Then within a minute or two, within like a minute, Rhea Ripley's music hits. She makes her return after getting her nose broken again. Um, or her, I think it was her nose this time. Last time she had her face broken. Her jaw broken. This time, I think it's her nose. She comes out wearing a mask, a face mask, and Flair, Bliss, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley all take out Nia Jax, Lash Legend, and the Kabuki Warriors. Rhea grabs the mic and all she says is War Games. And that's it. And that was Monday Night Raw. Um Monday Night Raw, okay. Like I've said, Raw was good. I will say Raw was good. I mean, I'm not gonna say it wasn't terrible. It wasn't horrible. Um, but it definitely could have been. I think it definitely could have been a little more exciting. You know, Raw just kind of lately just kind of has been seems to have been getting just kind of lazy, I guess. Like just kind of kind of just ho hum, lackadaisical, you know, just but I will say there's been a lot of action on Raw. You know, so Raw was good. Raw was good. Um but it wasn't a over the top, oh my gosh, I did not expect that, like, you know, that kind of thing. I wasn't expecting that. You know, wasn't didn't like absolutely just floor me like, whoa. You know, I wasn't super excited like I do get for SmackDown, which SmackDown has been on another level. All right, so next we're gonna dive right into not only a Raw review, guys, but I'm gonna give you my review of NXT. So here we go. NXT kicked off with a tribute video, a thank you tribute video package to all of our veterans, because it was Independence Day on Tuesday, um, and so NXT did a little nice little thank you video package to all of our veterans, which I thought was really cool, really nice. Then we had NXT officially open with Tatum Paxley of The Calling, accompanied by Sean Spears, and I can't remember the other guy, that I can't remember who else is with them. But Sean Spears, Izzy Dame, and the other guy who's with them, I cannot remember. Um, Tatum and Izzy both are on the mic, and they talk about how she can't keep giving out title opportunities like they're candy. Tatum said she wants everyone to have a chance to compete for the title. But Izzy said if she keeps giving out title opportunities, she risks the chance of losing her title. And right on cue, JC joined Fallon Henley um and Riley. I can't remember her last name. I'm drawing a blank on her last name. But Fatal Influence comes out. JC Jane said that Tatum should give her her rematch, and but that, you know, Izzy's right. You know, she can't be just giving out title opportunities like willy nilly, like just you get an opportunity, you get an opportunity, you get a title shot, you get a title shot. You know, she said she keeps saying, "Oh, she's right on that," but she said you have to be your own champ. She said you have to do what's best for you, not listening to Izzy. You have to do what is best for you. And Tatum actually did just that. So she said, "Okay, you want your rematch? How about next week Gold Rush, you and me for my women's championship?" And so next week Tatum Paxley is going to take on JC Jane at Gold Rush for the NXT Women's Championship. And then we got to look back at earlier in the day with the Vanity Project of Evolve, um, which have the Evolve champion Jackson Drake in Ava's office, just saying how, you know, they were talking about how it's going to be a pleasure and a privilege to defend the Evolve Championship on TV at Gold on television on Tuesday night at Gold Rush at Madison Square Garden. Then we had Alba Fire walk in with Chelsea Green, the women's United States champion, which she won back, and the North American champion Ethan Page, and also he and Chelsea Green are the AAA Mega Champions, and they're taking on their tag team match against Joe Hendry and Thea Hale is taking place next week at Gold Rush. So that's going to be fun. Oh, that's going to be fun. Joe Hendry and Thea Hale taking on taking on Ethan Page and Chelsea Green. Oh, that's going to be so good. That's going to be so good. Um but Alba Fire was like, they don't have clearance, that's not going to happen. And Ava said, "Really? Okay. You're in a match tonight against Thea." And then we got El Grande Americano putting his men's speed championship on the line against season 1 LFG winner on the men's side, Jasper Troy. Okay, now since speed is not on uh X anymore, they're doing the speed, I guess they're doing the speed championships championship matches on NXT apparently. So, this was a 5-minute match. There's some shenanigans. Jasper Troy went to the outside of the ring to attempt to use the chain, but El Grande Americanos um on El Grande Americano, but that plan was quickly thwarted by El Grande Americano's cronies. But the ref caught him with the chain in their hands and attempted to and thought he threw them out. But while that was going on, one of the other luchadors handed El Grande Americano the metal plate. As he went to try to put it in his mask, the ref caught him, and Troy hit the sidewalk slam for the win to become the new Speed champion. Jasper Troy wins his first title in WWE, and it's the Speed Championship. Okay, they need. I know they use this title to, I'm ranting here. I know they use this title as just a kind of a launching point, I guess, but they really got to get rid of that title. They really need to get rid of that title. El Grande Americano or Ludwig Kaiser needs to be in a legit title picture, not the Speed Championship. He needs to be in a legit like North American World Heavyweight NXT or World Heavyweight Championship match or Intercontinental Championship match for that matter. Um, but following that, backstage we got Thea Hale and Joe Hendry hyping up their tag match at Gold Rush for the titles, and Joe Hendry was hyping her up for her match against Alba Fire, and then we got Sean Legacy Jones and Ava's back in Ava's office discussing his Evolve Championship match against Jackson Drake next week at Gold Rush. Then Zarya and Sol Ruka, um, officially known as Zol Ruka, walked in, and Sol said she was medically cleared and next week. But before Ava made the match, she did ask her. She said, "You're medically cleared as tolerated." But Ava then asked her, "Are you sure you're good to go?" And she said, "Absolutely, 100%." So Ava made it official. Next week Gold Rush, it's going to be, or in 2 weeks it's going, I believe it's going to happen the following week. or it's going to happen next week. Sol Ruka is going to take on Blake Monroe, the NXT Women's North American Champion, at Gold Rush. Then we got Alba Fire taking on Thea Hale. Chelsea Green caused the distraction, and Fire dove right into Thea on the floor, giving her the advantage. Thea Hale picked up the win though with a counter into a sunset flip, and that was pretty much the match. I mean, that was pretty much the match. Um, Backstage, Ricky Saints was in the medical area getting attended to before his match, before his last man standing match against Trick Williams later on. And Tatum Paxley walks up, and Ricky's just telling her, "Hey, you've got to do what's best for you. You've got to do what's best for Tatum, not what is best for the calling. You've got to do what's best for you." And Izzy Dame and the calling walked up, and Tatum gets pulled away, but she started to say something to Ricky Saint. She so we don't know what it was. She started to say it, and Ricky just kind of went, "Okay." So we don't know what's going on. Then we got the Blake Monroe interview, which is basically Blake interviewing herself and her alter ego, the glamour interviewing her alter ego, the woman from hell, um, which is her darker side. Um, and her darker side said if she wanted to retain that North American championship, she had to become ruthless, and she had to dig down deep and pull out a side of her that she doesn't like, that she doesn't want to use again. But her darker side or alter ego said you have to if you want to retain this title. And Blake Monroe basically said, "Okay, we'll see you next week." And so next week it's going to be Sol Ruka taking on Blake Monroe, like I said. But is she going to bring out the alter ego? We will have to see. Next up, we got Sarah Shriver backstage interviewing Jordan Grace about what Kaylani Jordan had to say last week about being the TNA Knockouts champion. And Jordan Grace said that she's been the Knockouts champion twice, or three times. And in 2 weeks, she's going to prove that that Zhang Li, or um, formerly Zia Li, and Kaylani Jordan are going to find out and why she is Jordan Grace, and that Yang is going to have to be collateral damage. So Jordan Grace is getting another shot at the TNA Knockouts title in a three-way. Okay, cool. That ought to be good, seeing the Juggernaut taking on Kalani Jordan, and formerly and taking on Lee. That ought to be, or Yang. That ought to be really good. Um, and then we got Javon Evans in the ring, saying he started out by saying how super stoked he is about wrestling Gunther next week to see who's going to take on John Cena, and the fact that he gets to, at 21, that he gets to wrestle at Madison Square Garden in the last time his now tournament. He is super stoked, but he's super, like, scared. But the one thing you wanted to talk about was the opportunity that he and TNA X Division champion Leon Slater have next week at Gold Rush to win the NXT Tag Team titles from Dark State. And as Evans was saying how they're going to do just that, Dark State came walking down through the crowd and just said basically, "You sure you really want to take us on? You really want to fight us next week?" And so Javon Evans is basically like, let's go now. And they jumped in the ring, and we got 4-on-1. And apparently, Leon Slater wasn't there at NXT. Apparently, he wasn't there, but we all know that he was. We all know that he was. And Javon Evans is taking on Dark State by himself. Then we got Leon Slater come running down to help him out, and they all brawl. They're brawling, uh, and Javon Evans and Leon Slater stand tall, sending Dark State out of the ring, and yeah, they stand. Javon Evans and Leon Slater stand tall, and then we got Trick Williams warming up backstage, in the back, um, and Kalani Jordan walked up and Trick told her, "Hey, she needs to look out for herself, and she's the only one that matters. She needs to look out for her." And Kalani wished Trick good luck in his match and said that, and Trick was like, "Oh, I've got the match in hand. Don't you even worry." And then in a pretty short match, we had Fallon Henley beating the debuting Skylar Ray in the last match to see who would face Zarya next week in the finals for the Women's Speed Championship. And so it's like I said, it's going to be Zarya taking on Fallon Henley for the Women's Speed Champion next week. And then we got Josh Briggs taking on Tavion Heights. Briggs controlled much of the match, but uh, Tavion, Tavion looked good here, man. Tavion looked really good here. But Briggs looked really good too. Tavion gained control with some really nice mat wrestling. Shades of Kurt Angle. Um, and Briggs regains control of some heavy, heavy hitting offense. Briggs remained in charge of the match, as he continued with his heavy hitting offense. Heights hit a drop kick on Briggs. Briggs returned the favor with a drop kick of his own, dropping Tavion Heights. Tavion Heights picked up the win though with a belly to belly. Miles Bourne was back in Ava's office, and Ava asked him during the before the match. Ava's like, "Please don't interfere. Just let them fight. Don't interfere, please." And she was referring to Trick Williams and Ricky Saint. She's like, "Please don't interfere. Just let them fight." And so he's like, "Okay." And then Ren Sinclair walked up and started talking to Ava, and then Kendall Gray walked up and her and Ren Sinclair started talking in front of Ava about their tag team and how to make the Ren QCC better. And then Laney Reed just walks up. Laney Reed, who's part of who's part of Fatal Influence now that Jasmine Nix is no longer part of WWE. She's been let go. Just walks up and just slaps the taste right out of her mouth. And then we finally get to the main event of the night. Ricky Saints taking on Trick Williams for the NXT Championship in a last man standing match. And Trick obviously knew the ribs um, of Ricky Saints were injured, so he targets those right away. Trick Williams focuses on the ribs using a trash can, a chair, and a kendo stick. And at one point, Trick goes to use a trash can lid. Saints blocks it, and Ricky nailed Williams with the trash can lid until Trick again went to the ribs of Saints with him tied up in the ropes. Yeah, Saints was tied up in the ropes at one point, and Williams had the advantage until he went to throw Saints into the barricade, and they go outside. They're fighting each other outside. Trash cans are being used. Kendo sticks are being used. Trash can lids, chairs. Um, and Williams goes to throw Saints into the barricade. Saints sidesteps, sends Williams right into the barricade. And both men got back in the ring, and Saints just wore out the back and the side of Trick Williams with the kendo stick and steel chair. I mean, just absolutely wore him out. Saints was looking to finish off Trick, but he countered and threw Saints into the chair that was set up in between the ring post, and he went shoulder or ribs first. Then outside the ring, he outside the ring, Williams drilled Saints with the steel steps. Williams hit the trick shot and grabbed the steps and stood right on top of him with Saints underneath him. But Saints squirmed his way out from underneath the stairs. Um, got up and pushed Trick Williams right into the timekeeper's table, and then they start battling through the crowd. And Saints was sprinting toward Trick with the chain around his neck. Williams threw Saints right into the wall. So Saints had to had chain had the chain had a the heavy duty chain around his neck, and he was gonna just I mean spear the ever living daylights out of Trick Williams, and Trick Williams sidestepped and threw him right into the wall, breaking the wall. And then like I said, he hit the trick shot, and as they as and then both competitors went out amongst the fans. This is where it got nuts. Trick hit another trick shot on the stairs, and Saints finally gets up and throws Trick is I can't remember where Trick was, but Saints gets up on top of the barricade and hits a spear, sending Trick through the announce table. And Trick tries to get up. Trick goes right back down, and Saints survives and retains the NXT Men's Championship. But it did not end there. As NXT went off the air, Oba Femi, the ruler, made his return to NXT on Tuesday and had to be restrained, had to be held back by security and or by WWE officials or NXT officials and referees. So it looks like that maybe Obafemi is going to be challenging Ricky Saints here soon for the NXT Men's Championship. Um, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that. Um, Ricky is like he welcomes any challenger. So I'm not I'm not entirely I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that at all. Um, but that was Raw and that was NXT, guys. Like I said, Raw has like I said, Monday Night Raw has been pretty just kind of in the middle. They don't know. Raw's just kind of been just kind of in the middle lately, in the middle, like run of the mill good. Um, but you know, like I said, War Games is shaping up. We're starting to get teams together. We're starting to get matches together. Uh, one of the matches I know, like I've said, I am looking forward to Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio. And like I said, I that has to be for the AAA Mega Championship. But anyway, guys, this is your boy Hollywood Steve signing off. I will catch you guys next time. Remember, when you're Hollywood Steve, baby, it's for life, bruh.